right, welcome to Coffee with the Kays. What episode is this?
Five. Season
Episode
4,
five.
episode 5.
You just
Season
missed the
4.
bloopers, folks.
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
we're going to do a blooper reel.
That's it.
They can see my legs.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, and he had his headphones off. He didn't put them
I
on.
was like,
He
I was
had
going to
the
leave them off for
headphones
this one.
or
She's
on.
like,
What
no,
are
you
doing?
look better. I want headphones. I'm like,
Yeah, I'm jealous.
I have to get headphones for everyone.
Just to wear. They're
So in
not
case
plugged
this is
in.
the first
They're not gonna
episode
work.
for you, if this is your first episode, we're the Kays.
Hi,
Yes.
we're the Kays.
Ryan
Welcome.
K, Kyle K, I'm
Josh
Josh
K.
K. We have coffee.
We have coffee.
There we go.
Coffee with the Kays.
Coffee with the Kays. There we go.
We need to talk about the coffee.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's excellent coffee.
So we have a lot of times we have students that will send us coffee or bring us coffee from different places that they've been all around the world, really.
The world.
You know?
Oh, yeah.
So recently,
One of the best was that weasel coffee.
oh yeah, from Cambodia.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. This
That was great.
The
Look
civic
up the
coffee.
Weasel episode.
Yeah, you gotta
That
check
was really,
the Weasel
really good.
episode out because that was.
It was great coffee. So anybody going to Cambodia that wants
Oh,
to
you
bring
can-
us
you
back
can get
Weasel
it.
coffee.
You could get it from Worldmark, can't you?
No, not the Weasel
No.
coffee.
I know you can get it online. It's
Yeah.
just really expensive.
It's really
It was
expensive.
so yummy.
Yeah.
And we've had Kona coffee from Hawaii.
Yeah.
And Whidbey Island coffee from
Well,
Whidbey
we
Island.
had Honduras.
Honduran.
Gary got us
Gary got
Honduras.
us some of that. Yep.
So yeah, we've had coffee from all over. And this time we had a
You
student.
can't see the map. This is the map of Costa Rica.
There we go. So we had a student. Summer went to Costa Rica. Had a great trip, and I asked him if he'd bring us back some coffee, and he did.
And he
Yeah,
did.
so-
So here it is.
There we go.
I don't know how I'm doing showing.
Yeah,
I'm showing it.
You got
There,
it. We
it's
can
blue.
see it. Well, the
Okay.
people listening can't see it.
I know. Here it is.
It's a podcast.
Okay. You can hear it. You can hear the coffee in
The
the.
podcast form.
Well, we mentioned Summer was going to get us coffee when he went last podcast.
We
did
mentioned
we?
it on the last podcast.
Oh, so
yes.
we were talking. We were hyping this
We
up.
were hyping it up.
Yeah.
We
He
didn't
came
even know.
through for us.
That was good. Yeah. It was really nice. And I mean, yeah, it's pretty good. What do you think?
It's good.
Oh, it's good. I enjoy it.
I think mine. I did mine as a pour over.
Is mine a pour over?
No, yours is French press.
No, it's very tasty. I'm trying to think of what. It
There
is
we go.
different.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of a lighter taste.
Yeah, I know.
It
Waiting
doesn't.
for
I
it.
always want it to say the notes. These latest ones are not
Are you
saying.
dying to say the word orange?
No, it doesn't have a citrus taste.
Yeah.
Does it?
I was waiting for it.
I know.
No,
I'm dying.
I-
But what do you think? What is? Because I chose not to put the cream this time.
Honestly, I'm wondering when it was roasted. I don't think it's extremely fresh.
Well, maybe that's the problem. That's why I was a
Because
little
it
bit.
dies out kind of quick.
Yeah, it does. There's a little bit of a bitterness there. So
And
I'm
I
not
chose
really
to do
sure.
it, weffort
Not
like
that
I
we don't
usually do.
appreciate the
No,
effort.
and we'll
Absolutely
still
not.
drink it. It
Yeah.
says on the bag, it says, we are locals from Jocko Beach, passionate for the art of coffee and the Costa Rican tropical culture. Inspired by the beauty of people and the places around us, we work to create a timeless product that channels the taste of the sweet life by the sea. So,
Okay.
that's nice.
There we go.
It's a pretty bag.
So
Yeah.
we went to Bubba's restaurant the other day, and
Oh yeah.
you know, the waitress gave us the coffee, and
What is it? Bubba's 33, I think is what it's called.
Something like
and
that.
she
Yeah.
walks away, and I taste the coffee, and I turned to Josh. I said, "Man, this coffee tastes like." Shit.
Oh, no.
And the waitress comes back and says, "So, you guys like the coffee?"
I know.
Really?
I know. It was pretty funny. Yeah. I was like, well, the thing is.
It was like old percolated coffee.
I didn't think it was that bad.
I
was
didn't think it
bad.
was that bad either, but it was, I think it didn't taste fresh. And maybe that's what I'm tasting with this. It's
She
not
did
as
get us a fresh pot after
She
that.
did,
and
yes.
Yeah.
She made up for it. It was a little
Yeah.
bit better, but
Yeah. Well, I think I'm getting it's kind of earthy. I think it's a dark roast. Don't you think?
oh yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
because it was hard to tell because one of the tag says dark roast, but then the bag said medium roast, like full city roast, and so I wasn't sure.
They ran out of bags.
Yeah, I guess so. I know, but that's probably why there's a tag on it, you
Yeah.
know, that says dark roast. So Yeah, I think that's it.
And
so
it's ground, right?
it's already ground.
Yes.
So, that's one of the things a lot of times people will prefer to have beans over having it ground up because then it stays fresher.
It lasts a little longer, yeah.
As beans. So, but no, I think it's kind of earthy. It almost reminds me of like Sumatran.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. It's kind of got it's dark. It's
You've ruined me because I can't even go to a restaurant and
No,
I used to
Get
think
coffee.
like Waffle House had good coffee.
Well, they do if you get.
Well, believe it or
if
not,
you
their
get
dark roast
the
is pretty
dark
good.
roast is very good. At
I don't know.
Waffle
I'm
House,
afraid to
yeah.
drink it now, man.
I know. Well, when you think it's like Folgers or Maxwell House or
Yeah.
something.
You just don't know.
Sanka.
Yeah. Sanka.
Yeah.
I don't even know if they make Sanka anymore.
They do.
they?
I've seen it. Yeah, they
People are buying it.
They still have it. Well, and like instant coffee, like I read a book about the whole process, and like there's several different ways to do instant coffee, but the coffee crystals is kind of like the purest form of instant coffee.
Yes.
That best resembles actual coffee.
Okay.
From the beans. So it's some companies are kind of doing like specialized, just like we have specialized, beans. They're doing specialized
Instant coffee?
Yeah. So it's
Well,
not
yeah.
as much of, but there's still a stigma to it, that it's like,
Yeah.
oh, that's cheap coffee because it's instant coffee,
Right.
So
Well, I drink. I have 1 cup of Pete's dark roast in the morning. Then I follow that up with Guatemalan.
oh, okay.
And
Actually, you have 2 cups of Guatemalan.
is the Pete's a Guatemalan?
You don't have pizza
I
anymore.
thought you were slipping a pizza in there. For me.
Nope.
No Pete's, so it's only Guatemala.
I was drinking. Pete's was buy one get one a few weeks ago, so I got like the breakfast blend that I had in there, but I wasn't given that to you.
I'm just a spoiled man. When I wake up in the morning, I sit in my chair and she gets my coffee.
Yeah, there
am
you
I
go.
got the best wife in the world or what?
There you go.
And it's Guatemalan because that's his favorite.
Yeah.
So,
There you go. That's it.
That's it.
Well, I was just fascinated with. I think I talked about it in the last podcast. So if you haven't seen the last episode, you need to go check it out. But just with how diverse the climates are in Guatemala.
Right.
These little microclimates at different regions. And the volcanic soil versus the dry soil, and just all the different. So you get all these different flavors depending on which region you're coming from.
Well, we appreciate Summer bringing us
Yes.
this coffee.
Thank
It's
you,
very
Summer.
nice. It's fun
Absolutely.
to try different things that it's right from the country, so it's kind of neat.
Yeah, there we
Definitely.
go. Our
Yeah.
tour of our coffee around the
I know.
world.
It's
right?
great.
Yeah.
Terrific.
There was somebody just recently, I think they said they were taking a cruise to Jamaica, and I don't remember who it was. They were going to Mexico, and then it was going to be like a 2-week cruise. And I said, yeah, you're probably going to go, the Mexican, Jamaica, Cuba, loop like that. So I said to her, if you stop.
Probably Willow.
Yeah, that's
Coffee.
it. Bring Mr. K some coffee.
Bring Mr. K some coffee.
You want them in a good mood.
Well, that was funny when I told Jordan when she had band practice and she was gonna reschedule her lessons. She takes 3 lessons, 3 different instruments. She's ukulele, piano, and drums, and she just made it into drumline at West Florida High School. So
That's a hard-working girl.
oh yeah, we're really proud of her because she said she wanted to. She told me last year that she wanted to play snare drum in the drum line at West Florida High School, and so I said, okay, well, we got a year to get you ready, and that's
She
exactly
made it.
what we did,
Yep.
and then
Yeah.
she made it. Yeah, so it's pretty
Unbelievable.
exciting. So
Yeah.
so we had, because they had band, all the schools had band camp every single day, for long hours. It was like 1 to 9 or something
Yeah,
like that.
it was-
Yeah, they were going late. We had to reschedule our lesson, and she normally has 2 lessons on Saturday, and because we had a student reschedule, I was able to put her in, so she was going to have all 3 at the same time.
All right in a row.
So that's the thing I said to her. Well, here's the deal. I could give you this time, but you're going to have 2.5 hours of me. So.
Better drink your coffee.
And that's what she said. That's exactly what
As
she
soon
said.
as she pulled up,
Yeah.
she said, okay, so do you have your coffee?
That was it. That was it. She was like, all right, well, just make sure you have your coffee beforehand, and I'm going to make sure I practice, and it'll be
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
That's it. That's hard to do 2.5 hours of lessons. I mean, even when you break up the instruments. It's a lot.
Well, and I was, I wasn't being as hard, I think, as I normally am, because I knew it was 2.5 hours. So,
Right,
we were, having fun. We were having conversation and, and stuff. And so it was good. And she practiced. She did really well.
Yay. Good job, Jordan.
Yeah.
Woo-hoo.
Yeah, good job.
And her mom, Queenie, she takes guitar lessons too.
Oh, yeah,
so
she's
it's
doing
a
really
great
good.
family.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Great job. All right.
So, cool.
What's next?
What's next? Well, do you want to do the music or do you want to do the football? Because that's the only things on our mind right now.
Music and football.
Music and football.
Well, why don't we do
She's doing a mock draft,
I
in the
did.
shower,
I know.
Come on, man.
I was having trouble getting his coffee this morning. I'm like, you're going to have to wait a minute. I'm doing a mock draft.
Yeah.
I'm up next.
Gotta watch the board. Yeah.
So I guess maybe we should do...
Football.
I was gonna say do the music next, but since we already started talking about football, we can go ahead and do that.
It's our podcast.
We could do whatever we
can
want.
do what we want to.
So here's the thing. We have a league, the R.K.M.I. Fantasy Football League, and we need 10 teams, and therethere's 3 of us, so we need 7 teams.
And we can have more than.
We can do more than 10
do more
if
than
it
10.
fills up, but yeah, if
But
you
it's
want.
a lot harder the more you do.
Yeah.
Well, it was so fun last year. I'll tell you because I'd never done fantasy football, and I did it last year, and it changed my life. It was.
He's going to go to Fantasy Football Anonymous.
No, it was fun because it made watching football more fun because it wasn't just our
You're
team.
way more involved.
It was now I wanted to watch games all day long and the nighttime game, which Ron was having trouble doing 3 games every Sunday, and Thursday night. But because you were watching for your guys.
Oh yeah. Well,
So-
it does. It gives you a vested interest in the games that are going on, and then a lot of times, what I found the first year that I did it, I didn't understand like a lot of the rules and stuff because I was just like, yeah, sure, I'll just sign up and let's just do it. So I lost. Like I came in last, I think, in the league the first year that I did it, but it was
Like me.
fun. Yeah,
I came in last.
Well, that was the thing. It was fun, and then
I wish
learned-
I could say that, but I came in first. So.
Well, we need more people to sign up so Ron doesn't come in first.
Yeah. Well,
They're trying to humble me in
that's
the
the
worst
thing.
way,
That's
man.
the thing. I think I have good strategy this year, so we'll see.
Oh, I
We'll see
know.
how
And
it goes.
I started following this Instagram account that's a fantasy football.
Yeah, that's what happens.
Yeah.
And that's you
And
get
so
in.
then they're kind of like, they're like jokesters, but then they do serious things like I think.
Well,
this guy,
that's the
that
thing
guy.
I think is funny about this is you can't take it too seriously.
No.
'Cause
No,
it's all,
you can't. That's important.
Yeah, that's it. It's all pretend. It is fantasy.
It is,
Right?
it
It's
is.
it's really.
And if you don't get Patrick Mahomes,
Yeah.
don't have a heart attack.
Yeah,
over it.
that's it.
You might be able to trade up later on.
And
Well,
he might
last
get
year-
injured and not even play. I mean,
That's
you
right.
don't know. That's the whole.
Yeah.
the
Well,
whole
it's
thing.
that's the gamble. And so like last year, I took in a couple of my leagues, I took Justin Fields and cleaned up.
I know because he
was-
poured it on at the end of the season.
I took him in like the second to last round or something like that because nobody wanted him because
Yeah.
they thought, well, he's playing for the Bears. And he's
Surprise,
not
sleeper.
Gonna,
Yeah.
That was it. So and then that's exciting because then that's the stuff that brings you back because you hit on a player that nobody else bet on.
Yeah.
Well, that was it, and
ends
I
up
had
paying
at the
off.
beginning. I mean, I thought I did great because I had Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers. I'm like, with the
jeez,
two
I
of
know.
them.
Who would
and then,
doubt that
I know.
that was a good choice?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they both had like terrible years, and
Yeah.
then I picked up Tua, and then Tua
Oh,
and
geez, and
Waddle,
the concussion.
and then he
Oh.
So
Like,
I was.
what did he have? Like 3 concussions
3,
last year?
yeah.
Oh my gosh.
But
I
when
know.
he played before he had the first concussion, him and
Yeah.
Waddle were like racking it up. And
Oh,
it
and
was
Hill,
boom, boom,
and
boom.
you had Hill, and
Yeah.
you were clean. Yeah, you were cleaning up.
So then I don't know. So now it's like you just don't know who to pick. I mean,
Well, what makes it even trickier is the Browns.
Oh,
'cause
jeez, I
they
know.
have some very, very talented people on that roster.
Mm-hmm.
But
Are they going to play?
But Stefanski's the coach.
Can you count on him?
Stefanski's the
Right.
coach. This is the guy who tells Chubb to run out of bounds rather than score
it's
the
been
touchdown.
3 years. You still won't let that go.
Stop taking it so personal, man. What are you, related?
I knew it was going to come up. That was the thing. I was thinking of our podcast today, and I thought he's going to bring up the Chubb running out of bounds thing.
Okay.
You know why?
I hope you turned down the volume at that point because it just blew out of everybody's speakers.
It had to blow my mind because in all my years of playing football, playing semi-pro football, watching football, never ever had the thought entered into anybody's mind included, ever, of telling your guy not to score.
Yeah.
Like,
so
what kind of planet is
for
that?
For the people listening and are not familiar with this one game, okay? Well, what happened was
We'll live in infamy.
Well,
No, they could just go back and watch one of our previous podcasts.
I don't even remember. But the thing is, so we were playing. Who were we playing? I don't even remember.
Who
it
cares?
It didn't
I
matter.
don't know.
But it was a tight game. It was close. It was high scoring.
Just the kind of game you don't want to score in.
Well, the thing is, so we're down to the last minute of the game, and we have the ball. We're up by 1 point. Okay. And they're just running it. And everybody's expecting this to happen because the Browns are going to run the clock down, right? Because they're ahead. They're ahead by a point. That'll be fine.
Chubb breaks loose.
Chubb got through, and there was probably about 10 seconds left on the clock. And he's, cleared. Nobody can catch him.
Like
He's
a
all the way
rocket
down running down the entire field to the end zone. And he looked up, and he saw the time, and he stepped out of bounds.
Oh, he got told by Stefanski to run out.
He made the choice.
He called no joy or whatever,
Yeah, well, he made the choice, but according to what Stefanski said and some of the other players, the play was he was supposed to run out of bounds anyway. That was the whole play, was run out of bounds. We'll go out there, we'll take a knee because it'll be 10 seconds left, and then we'll win the game. So Chubb broke through, wasn't expecting to break through, but then still ran out of bounds because he was, Stefanski said, this is the play. So then
you got to explain it. He could have went into that end zone untouched.
Yes, he was
untouched.
He was wide open. So here's the source of debate and contention in the Kaye family, at least, is that if he would have scored, okay, because they were playing somebody like Tampa Bay or somebody like that was Tom. It was like Tom Brady or something. It was a really good quarterback. If they would have scored, there was enough time left on the clock that they would have been 8 points up. The other team could have gotten the ball, could have done a Hail Mary, and could have tied the game, and then we would have gone into overtime.
And Jesus could have come back right before the clock stopped.
So to avoid because we, hadn't been winning games.
We hadn't won.
We hadn't won a single game.
Season we hadn't won.
I think it was like week 3. So we hadn't won any games. So to eliminate any possibility of any freak thing happen, which it's Cleveland, has freak stuff ever happened before?
Well, that was
football.
So
man.
he steps out of bounds. They go out there. They take the knee. They win with 1 point.
But even the announcers were like,
And Dad forever hates Stefanski because
I had plenty in the chamber.
there's
before
more than
that,
just that. I know.
But even all the announcers, everybody was like, "Why did he step out of bounds?"
But that was what I keep saying is afterwards. I watched all the commentary.
Yes.
The spin
all
came
the
out.
football guys said that was a really, really smart play, and they didn't credit Stefanski. They credited Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb, that was an IQ football play right there. Just end the game. Don't worry about this back and forth putting other players at harm. And there were other football players that said not Cleveland people.
Is it that dangerous that if
Now
you have
imagine-
to snap the ball, make sure your life insurance is intact?
Well, I mean,
come
Well,
on,
make
get out of
sure-
here. That's a bunch of crap.
and if we were playing fantasy football and I had Nick Chubb on my team that year, that would have really made me mad.
And that was the
because
problem.
he wouldn't have. If he
Yes.
scored, he would have
screwed
gotten
all
more
them people
points.
that bet on
and
it.
there were
Yes.
a lot of people that were really upset about that.
Yeah.
That he, cost them
I
fantasy.
mean, I've
points.
never heard of or seen that mentality. It's always score the points, man.
Yes.
Win the game. Not well. We don't want to give them another chance.
Well, and Chubb is
we
the
could
guy.
onside kick and they could run it back for a touchdown with nobody touching the guy. Well,
Yeah.
Jesus, if you're that bad, You deserve to lose.
That's right. Oh God.
I mean,
Part
that's
of me
what I'm
thinks
saying.
that
What-
was the thinking.
What kind of confidence? What kind of confidence did he have in the team?
I mean,
I can't let these morons do another play.
yeah, the defense, they obviously were not happy with their defense. Yeah.
Well,
so
anyway.
that was a long time ago. We've come a long way.
We've yes,
and
evolved
that was
since then.
Stefanski's first year coaching. That was his first year
No.
coaching.
Are you
Yes, it
sure?
was. Yes, it was.
That
was
he
his
got
first
Coach
year.
of the Year.
Yes, that was his first year.
I don't know.
I don't think those. I think you got him confused.
Yeah, no, that
Well,
was
we will
that
go
It
was
was
back.
the COVID game that got him the coach.
yeah. That was it. Wasn't that game that got
No,
him
no,
coach,
no.
but he
No.
won Coach of the Year that year. Yeah, because they did play.
I
They
felt
played.
sorry for him. Look,
Yeah.
that stupid son of a gun. Man. He needs a break. Let's make
Yeah.
him coach of the year.
Well,
Well,
when
anyway.
he got COVID and had the game plan and
From
everything
his
from his
basement.
basement and whatnot, he got a lot of accolades for that because then they ended up winning the game.
And again, they won the game because he was coaching from his basement and
Yeah.
probably they were blowing him off.
Well,
You hear something? I don't hear nothing.
well, according to the people that were involved, how big he is with all the game plan.
Yes,
and
this
all
is
that
the
stuff.
plan,
That
and
was
they
the
had
whole
the
thing.
plan, and you stick to the plan.
Right.
Well,
So, anyway,
That's the problem.
yes.
If I was gonna fix Stefanski, if that's possible, I would knock this stupid idea of we have a plan, come hell or high water, stick to the plan.
Yes.
No flexibility.
Right.
No factoring in recent events.
Right.
It's
Injuries
just stick.
and
I
everything.
planned us to win by one. It almost sounds like he was betting on the game.
well, and then so here's not to stroke the fire even more.
Oh
Okay?
no. Okay.
But
Stroking the fire.
yeah, I don't know what is
Stoking.
stoking. Oh, jeez. Okay.
Throw a log on the fire. That's stoking the fire.
I don't know. I wasn't
Get up a
born.
nice fire.
I wasn't born in the 1800s. I don't know these things. I've never dealt with a fire. Are you kidding me?
See, this is the mentality of people that like Stefanski.
Oh, stop it! Oh my gosh.
Okay.
So what is the stoking the fire,
Stoking the
not
fire.
stroking. So anyway, moving on, people. This is going to be a thing now, okay? This is going to
Yes,
be a
it
thing.
will.
Yes.
It will have a lot
Oh
of
my
things.
gosh. He didn't cover the spread, and so a lot of people lost a lot of money. Okay.
So all that, getting back to that point, right?
So if you'd
I'm
like
just
to join,
I'm just saying Stefanski might not be the sharpest bulb in the bunch. That's
That's right.
the brightest
bulb.
knife in the drawer.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh. Okay. Yes. We might have to have a break early so
The
I can go
strongest bird
read
in the
your.
fight.
Oh my goodness.
But that just, that shows the unpredictability. And another thing, brilliant move that he did, and I used the air quotes on that one, is, he didn't run Chubb.
Oh well, they did in the first
So,
two
You have
okay.
games.
you have
So
this,
here's
the
the
best
funny-
running back in what coach?
Yeah.
Ask any of them. You got the best running back in the league. The guy squat presses semi trucks.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And
He did a
you're
video,
not going to
he was
use
up
them.
600 pounds. Yeah. It was
Well,
crazy.
and they did when the beginning of that season. So that was 2 years ago. But they had Chubb and Hunt, and even the announcers were like they were running Chubb and Hunt, Chubb and Hunt, Chubb and
And
Hunt.
16,
boom, boom,
that
boom,
was
boom.
when I
Right.
said they got a
And
formula.
right, we're winning, we're winning, we're winning.
See, that's not
Right.
the plan.
Then
wasn't the
now
plan.
give the ball to Baker and
Yeah.
have him throw it
Yeah.
every single play, even when he's injured and has his shoulder
or
in a sling.
Hunt would be on, Chubb would be off.
Right.
Chubb would be off, Hunt would be on, and then they just keep the guy that's off in there.
Yeah.
It's like, what are you thinking, man?
Yeah, they didn't
And then,
run
like,
them
all of a
together.
sudden, both Chubb and Hunt are on the sidelines, and Dearness Johnson is in, and you're
Right.
like,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
And then he,
Yeah.
I know, and he did good. Now he's going to be with Jacksonville this year. So
Is he?
Yes, I'm hoping he's
He
gonna
might
do
actually
real good.
play because
Yeah.
ETN is still injured, so that
Yeah.
that might be the
See, that throws a wrench in your fantasy football thinking about
Yeah.
Browns players. Amari Cooper,
Yes.
fantastic.
Yeah.
And he brought you some good points last year.
What a
You had
great
him.
player, but he's a Brown.
And he's injured right now.
And-
So,
well,
when he's not injured, they might not play him, or they might not throw to him.
But-
Njoku, the whole first freaking half of the season, they didn't use him.
Yeah.
And
And then they
used
said,
him.
well, let's throw it to Njoku. What the hell? And then he starts
scoring. I know.
pulling that OBJ stuff, and,
Chief, yeah.
and I'm just
Yeah,
tearing it
and
up.
I had
man.
him on my team. He was like one of my only good players.
As a
But
tight end, yeah.
yeah,
So to be fair, the Browns are not the only ones with these kind of issues.
No,
and
they're
this,
not.
This is kind of part of the betting of or the gambling of doing, not money gambling, but the gamble of taking players from other teams that are not reliable. Like the Houston Texans, for example. There's some good players on that team, and Damian Pierce, the running back, he's like, he's really fast and he's elusive, and he's got all these. You can look at his stats. He's got all these stats. In the years where he was healthy, he did really well. But he's playing for the Houston Texans. So the thing is, like, if he's playing for, anybody else, you'd be like, oh, he's a sure bet. But he's playing with the Texans, and you don't know. They have a brand new coach. They have a rookie quarterback.
well, and this is the same with Aaron Rodgers now going to the Jets.
I really think
wondering-
that's going to work out.
The
though.
speculation
hoping
is
it
that
does,
he's
'cause
going to
I
have
like
a good
Aaron
year, and then
Rodgers.
there's
Yeah.
that running back. What's his name? Wilson. Wilson. It's on my phone. He's a wide receiver.
Wide receiver. Oh, Garrett Wilson.
Garrett Wilson.
Yeah.
So they're saying that he had a good year last
Yes, he
year.
did with a terrible quarterback.
Right, but they're expecting that he's going to have a better year too because him
Absolutely.
and Rodgers have some chemistry.
Well, and I think
right now,
Lazard
so.
is another guy that he did well when he was with Aaron Rodgers at Green Bay. He was one of the guys that Aaron Rodgers requested, and they got him.
So he's with the Jets too.
Yeah, and nobody's really talking about him, but
No.
I really do think that Lazard has a possibility.
But he had
to,
a good year last year.
and
pretty
the
good.
year before that. So this is one of the trends that they're saying is that a lot of these second and third year wide receivers, they tend to boom,
Right.
in their second and third year. So that's kind of, there's a little tip for you if you're going to do a fantasy
Hot
football.
off the press.
There
Yeah.
you go. Look for second and third year wide receivers because there's a high possibility that they end up really blossoming.
So if you want
Right.
to play fantasy football with us, you need to let us know
Yes.
so then we can send you the link because it's not just like a public.
No,
it's
no,
not.
it's,
yeah,
a
yeah.
it's a
league.
private
Have to
league,
get an
so
invite.
you need to get the invite so you can.
So
do
yeah,
it.
message us, send a comment,
And probably
DMs.
when are we going to do it? The
September 7th, aren't we?
Well, I think we said we were going to do it before that.
Before
because that's
September
the first,
7th.
That's
So
the first game.
October?
So August. We wanted to do
August.
it in, like
the end
middle
of August.
End of August?
Yeah.
Okay. End of August.
Yeah. So we'll pick a date when we're going to open it, but you can still we can start getting signed up.
Yeah,
right,
yeah,
and
get
in the
people
league.
going and then, we'll schedule the draft and go from there. So, yeah, and it's going to be fun. And the draft is always a lot of fun, but that's kind of just the beginning because then once the season gets going and you start dealing with
Injuries.
Well, and matchups, sometimes you got.
And then they trade people. They do weird
do.
trades after like the first, second game. All of a sudden they start trading.
Well, it's part of the reason too why I didn't want to start the draft too early this year because like Dalvin Cook, really good running back for Minnesota, they cut him and he's still a free agent and he's meeting with different teams. And the last I heard, he met with the Patriots. And man, if he goes there, that would be amazing. And they already have a really good running back in Ramondre Stevens. But
I don't know. I feel like it's all different. Like I was doing that mock draft today, and it was like all these new names, and I mean it changes so much every year.
Some of what I was telling you before too that is always funny to me is because I'll listen to these podcasts and YouTube videos and stuff with all these different fantasy guys, and I'll notice that like all of a sudden somebody comes out with a hot take that's like Deontay Johnson is going to be the next,
Well, that's
rising
why I don't
star.
listen to all that
Yeah.
stuff. You made a mistake last year of listening to all that stuff.
Yeah.
And it screwed you up.
Yeah.
And I didn't listen to any of it.
Well,
And
when
I
did-
did better
what was-
because you gotta trust your gut. And what you know.
Well, but a lot of things contributed because, like Mom said, you had stuff like Derrick Henry went out with an injury, and like Taylor from Jonathan Taylor from Indianapolis Colts, who he was the number one running back in the league.
That's why you can't go
Drafted
by
him,
stats alone.
But that's the thing. You would think he had one amazing year. The next year is going to be awesome, and then I don't remember, it was like an Achilles or something like that, like right early on, and then that was it. He was out.
Our boy Baker's not doing too bad for himself.
Yeah, he's in Tampa Bay, and apparently they're all in on him. They're like he's their guy. So.
Well, now we're going to find out what Baker's made of.
Well, I think
he had enough of.
We can't. Like, I don't know. He was in Carolina for a little minute.
They didn't like him. The fan base didn't like him at all.
Oh, really?
No, they didn't want him in there.
Yeah,
they didn't want him carrying the water.
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm serious.
Yeah, they I don't remember why, but yeah, that was a problem. So then when he went to Tampa Bay and he was back up there, that was good. But now it's him and Kyle Trask. They're supposedly going to be battling it out, but for everything I've heard, Baker's got the job.
Yeah, they pretty much gave it to him.
Yeah,
already.
so
Well, I want him to do good.
Yeah,
and we like Tampa Bay. I mean,
Yeah, that's
well, you got to have those fans back. It reminds me of that Jacksonville game we went to when we had the Money Man.
Oh, Manziel.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
And he's pulling this stuff to the opposite bench.
That was bad, and then they lost
fans,
the game.
man. It was like, I hope we get to the car when the stands.
I know.
It was very difficult.
That was crazy.
We're wearing Cleveland gear and stuff.
Yeah,
It's like, oh my God.
I know, that was funny. But yeah, that was the thing when they drafted Baker. I was like, oh man, he looks like Manziel 2.0.
He does, yeah. A lot of similarities.
He had a lot of the same makings, but one of the things I just recently heard an interview with him, and one of the things he said is it's been 2 years he's been off social media completely.
That's good.
I think he's matured. I mean, he's older now.
Yeah,
I mean, he's
silenced
definitely
his wife.
Yeah.
But how's his golf game? That's
that's the thing.
Oh, he can hit a ball, man.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, that's it.
Well, you want to take a break and then we'll come back and do our music?
Yeah, sounds good. All right, we'll take a break and we'll be right back.
Ron Kaye's music instruction has been trusted by thousands in Pensacola to learn, play, and love music. Our strong passion for teaching music provides expert knowledge and guidance which helps you succeed and have fun with your music lessons. Whether it's a bucket list dream or a desire to enhance your child's life, our music lessons are the answer. Call 850-453-9966 now. Realize your musical dreams. Visit musiclessonspensacola.com today.
Okay, and we're back.
Yes, and I'm having another cup of coffee.
Yeah, I
you
can see
caught
that.
me, and it's very, very pretty.
You made like a dessert. Like,
I did. It's
yeah.
I don't know.
So I just got admonished during the break for my colorful language.
Oh. Wasn't that bad?
I have to tell you, I'm 66 years old, man. The filter is very worn.
Oh, yeah.
What filter? Come on.
Yeah. That's funny.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Oh, yes.
So, we...
music.
Yes, we were talking about some things. Well, I mean, we talk music all the time.
Yes,
right?
we do. And that's why we do this podcast, because we kind of do this anyway. And then we'll be talking and we'll like, stop talking. We can save this for the podcast.
Podcast stuff.
Yeah,
and then it's like, well, that's kind of stupid because we don't do this we don't do the podcast every week. But anyway.
Well, I know, but I mean, that's the thing is like for you guys, you get kind of an insight into, conversations with the case,
There we go.
Of our family.
This is what we do,
Yes.
so.
We have fun.
Yes,
Oh,
we
yeah.
do.
Yeah. So recently, we lost an all-time great musician and singer, Tony Bennett, passed away just a couple weeks ago.
But
And,
96? I think they said he was just a few weeks shy of his 97th birthday.
Was he really?
Yes.
Yeah.
So oh my gosh, you know, that's quite a life.
Well, and so some of the interesting things that I found out as I was kind of,
Reminiscing.
Yeah, and read all kinds of articles and stuff about his life and whatnot. All these Grammy Awards and stuff and Emmys, and it's like, it was something like 16, 17.
Yeah, he need a semi to hold
all
on.
this stuff, yeah. And there's a picture of him with like all of his awards out and stuff. Most of his Grammy Awards, all but 2 of his Grammy Awards, he won after the age of 60.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I think
That's
he
impressive.
probably matured a little bit,
Yeah.
And that wisdom when you hit 60.
Oh, is that what it is?
It just kicks in, yeah.
I'll take your word for it.
Something to look forward to.
Oh, yeah.
Or does that say something about the music scene as he got older? And
Well, look at Willie Nelson. He didn't make it big till he
Yeah.
started smoking pot and growing his hair long.
there you go. Is that what it is?
Appeal to a wider audience there.
Hey, that guy's really good, man.
Yeah.
Oh my
That's
goodness.
it. Oh my gosh, yeah, that's funny. But yeah, he did a lot of those duets, with different people that were popular,
Yeah.
and he seemed
And
to
like Lady Gaga, like more current
right.
people and things like that.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and the two of them became really good friends.
Right.
Like it wasn't just partners
stage.
for music and stuff, but like they actually had a friendship. And then he was battling Alzheimer's, and she said his last televised concert that he did, and I remember watching it, so I remember what she described. She said he would get confused, but he always remembered
The words
to
of
the
songs.
song.
Yeah.
The song would start up, and he never messed any of that up.
Yeah.
But then like they were backstage and they're talking, and then all of a sudden he's like, oh, we're on stage, like there's all these people out here, like and she was like, yeah, they're here for you, Tony.
Yeah.
You're gonna go do a concert, So he goes out there and he's doing the concert and he's singing his songs and stuff, and then it's time for her to go out there, and she said that there were several times where he kept asking what her name was, and then she walks out and she says, "Hey, Tony," and he goes, "Whoa, Lady Gaga."
Oh.
And then that's it. She just and I remember her reaction, she
Yeah.
just was like, she
Just
got
broke
emotional
down.
and just
Yeah.
broke down and was like, "Oh my gosh." And she did this little dance, and stuff. And she said it was like, my friend was seeing
Was
me,
back,
yeah,
yeah.
that's it. I
Yeah.
have my friends. So, yeah, so you could definitely tell like there was a special connection that they had,
He had a quality of voice that was so unique.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, and that was I think it was Frank Sinatra that talked about how he was a tenor, but he sang like a baritone. That's what he said.
Because he had a richer quality to the tone.
Absolutely. But then he could sing like Pavarotti, like like with the high, and he would sing opera songs and stuff like that too. And I mean, it was incredible. His breath control, he could make one phrase go on and
Yeah.
on and on.
Definitely.
That one song that he has, I can't remember the name of it, but he does that "Nowhere to go, now you're here." Like it just goes and goes
Keeps
and
going
goes, and
and
then
going.
goes right into the next phrase without taking a breath.
So who's going to replace him for the future generations?
Well, and that was interesting because Josh came across a list of crooners, and I don't know that they're in any particular order. I mean,
they are.
It is in order?
Yeah.
But like, are they in the class of Tony Bennett? Like,
Well, and it's
I mean,
yeah,
you can't put Michael Buble and all that in the class with Tony Bennett. That's
Well, I mean,
apples and bananas.
yeah, I mean,
But he's good, Michael Bublé.
I did not
And-
say he wasn't
No,
good. He's
but
very
he's-
talented.
is he on the same level?
Yes.
Well, because I don't know enough about him, but he seems like he's also kind of a straight-laced kind of guy. He's a
Well, he's definitely a performer. He's a professional. Like he does a really good job. He has a
Harry Connick
good,
Jr.
Yeah, he has a good act. He has a good stage presence. The days of doing I don't think that this is true, but I think a lot of people would say, I've heard people say that the days of one man standing on a stage in front of an
Singing.
audience, in front of an orchestra singing, are gone. I don't necessarily believe that. I think that it's not as common, because that used to be all there was, right?
Yeah.
And even variety shows and stuff like that.
Danny Thomas.
Yeah,
you know?
right? Yeah. Well, I mean, you go all the way back to, when a lot of these guys were first coming up. I mean, that was the thing. There was big bands, and then they...
Well, and that's what was popular. So then,
right.
and then, like, that was what, like, the 40s and the 50s.
Mm-hmm.
And then when we got to the 60s, we ended up getting more groups.
Yes.
We had,
smaller groups.
Or we had groups like the Motown groups, like the Four Tops or the Temptations and things like that. And we had bands like Led Zeppelin and the Rolling Stones and the Beatles, and like that were more the bands there. And then now, and then a lot of people from all those bands, people broke off into solo acts.
Oh,
so,
yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
But
the thing about somebody like Tony Bennett is when you watch Tony Bennett, whether he was singing with a small combo or a huge orchestra, it didn't matter, because he could just he didn't need dancing and choreography.
He commanded your attention.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, and the same with Frank Sinatra, and
Yeah, well, and even Sammy Davis Jr. Like, there's a video that I'll show my kids, because most of my kids don't have any idea who Sammy Davis Jr. is.
No.
Like, they you mention Frank Sinatra, you play his music, they go, oh yeah, I've heard that before. They may not know his name, but they've seen him or heard him or whatnot. But Sammy Davis Jr. is not nearly as popular, but he was really, really talented, and I feel like he's an important person to learn about. And so there's a video where he it was done in the 70s, and or it might have been like the late 60s or something, but it was around that time period, and he's tap dancing, and that's how he got started.
He was amazing.
Yeah. Well, that was the thing. His father and his uncle, they all were tap dancers, and that was how he kind of got started in show business, was tap dancing. So that's like his bread and butter,
Yeah.
And he does this whole song where he says, nobody's tap dancing anymore. They're doing choreography, And so then he proceeds to go on and do a tap dance number. And I'll show that to kids, and their minds get blown. Yeah. The same way the grown audience back in the 70s watching that was because, and they go, wow, that's amazing. And I'm like,
test the time.
Exactly. And it's not all of it, and nothing against any of that form of dancing or anything, but I think that that's kind of what we're talking about, like with Tony Bennett, with the guy who's a solo act, he can just command the stage with his voice. So who do we have currently that can do that? Somebody popular like that could do something like that. I mean, Elton John just retired, so
and we lost Freddie Mercury.
Yeah, Freddie Mercury, right? I don't know. I haven't seen enough of Michael Buble to say that he can do that,
I think he's great, but I don't think he's in the same class.
I know people that have seen him in concert, and it's like a lot of these people, it's like we talk all the time about, like, Bruse Springsteen, for example. I mean, he's not an up-and-comer, but Bruse Springsteen, he's kind of rough around the edges, kind of guy, but people that I knew back in the day that saw him in concert, then that changed everything. Yeah. He did such a great show that it changed every way that they looked at him and listened to him and everything because of
and then they watched him in his later years performing and went, dude, it's time to quit.
It is. It's hard.
Sliding across the stage on his knees and stuff.
Yeah.
You're in your 50s, man.
He's in his 60s
need a new hip
now.
after that show.
Yeah, it is. It's hard, but there are, like, and Michael Buble's not that young anymore. Harry Connick Jr. is another one on the list, I think.
Yeah, I think he's that. Well, when we went and saw Barry Manilow, I was blown away,
fantastic.
Man. Like, because that was the same kind of thing. Like, I remember watching him perform and thinking, like, I had seen other concerts that year, and I was like, there's no flamethrowers, there's
no pyrotechnics.
Right? Yeah, that was, and then, like, I was just, like, watching his body language, like, as he was singing, because he would start, like, with motioning with his hands, like, down here, and then he'd hit that last note or whatever, and he'd be up here with it, and hitting that high note, and it would just, you just go, you know,
And
like,
he was still
he
hitting
sucked
those
in.
high notes.
yeah, you know, and so, you know, honestly, we just talked about Lady Gaga, but I do feel like she's somebody that commands a stage like that. And I think that, you know, she, you know, kind of got into the spotlight with all the crazy stuff
And the
that
gimmicks.
she did.
I don't think she needs that anymore, though.
I don't think she ever really needed it.
Well,
but
she was following Madonna.
that was the
She
thing.
was
And she
using the Madonna mold.
right, and you know, with the meat dress and
Yeah.
you know all that stuff, and you know, it was just I don't think that was necessary. But I remember talking to people about it, you know, at the time, that I was like, look, when you strip away all of that crazy stuff she's doing, she's a really good singer, you know,
And piano player.
piano player,
yeah.
right. And then that was the thing, is then when she did, she sang at the Oscars. She sang Somewhere Over the Rainbow, and it was funny because then the next day I went to school, and all these, you know, teachers and people I work with coming up to me and going, "Did you hear Lady Gaga? Can you believe she can sing that well?" And I was like, "Yes, I can." Like that's I
Well, didn't
absolutely.
she go to Juilliard or something?
She did.
I mean,
Was
yeah.
it Juilliard?
I
Yeah.
think so.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
did. She went. I know she went to a
She's
music
trained,
school. She's
yeah.
trained, right?
Mhm.
But she was using all of that stuff in the beginning there to kind of like get, you know,
Get her
popular,
foot in the
get her
door.
foot in the door, right? But now, I mean, she's you know, she's acting and she's, you know, doing, you know, music and performances, and she's doing jazz and pop.
Well, what
and,
I like is
yeah.
that she uses her voice truly like an instrument.
Yes.
She gets different sounds on different songs and different parts of her range, and she
Absolutely.
has such control that she can do that. She can get a warm tone, she can get a bright tone.
You had mentioned all these famous Motown singers and groups, you know, Four Tops and all that, and I think that that's a whole nother track. You know, like Levi Stubbs, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, from the Four Tops.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. There's not enough nice accolades I could say about Levi Stubbs and his vocal ability
Oh yeah.
and his acting ability and his sense of humor and
Yeah.
his performance and his dancing, and I mean, that guy was everything, you know.
Yeah.
And he didn't need a whole lot of stuff. He was
Right.
just him doing his thing, but you know, he had that creativity too, you know.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, it does when you kind of strip away all of the extra stuff, you know. It does cause you to have to be creative and rely on, you know, your abilities a little bit more, because you're not relying on, you know, the band as much, or you know, other.
You're up there with 4 or 3 other guys dancing.
Yeah.
And, you know, that's you, and
Yeah,
you know, you're
yeah.
on Ed Sullivan or whatever, you
Right.
know, reaching millions around the world, you know.
Right. Yeah.
That's been so
And
fun.
pulling it off.
We watch Ed Sullivan on Sunday nights now on Me TV,
Yeah.
which Josh doesn't get Me TV on his.
I know, so I
on
just
his
hear about
TV, but it's very fun.
Yes.
Because it's reminiscent. You know, they have all. Petula Clark is going to be on this week, so
Oh.
it's.
I don't know. I have to look up.
Oh,
We're
look up
missing out on
Petula
that show
Clark.
because it's really great.
Yeah, it
They
is.
had the Beatles when they first.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
TV.
Jackson 5. You know.
Yeah.
when-
Oh, yeah,
Little Michael.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there you go. Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
There's another mind-blowing performer right there, Michael
Michael
Jackson.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And
Amazing.
creativity and everything.
Well, because he could do it all,
Steroids.
right?
Yeah, he could do it
Because
all.
he could do
Yeah.
everything. I mean,
You know,
that's-
from a kid growing up, okay, he got pushed to be the lead in his family band, and that's
Yeah.
big enough. But and I think he probably felt like that was like too much for him. But he was going to rise to the occasion.
He did.
Then he turned out being better than his brothers,
Oh yeah.
and then he just
Went for it.
parlayed the crap out of that for a couple decades, and you know.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It was
And,
amazing.
I mean,
Yeah, and
I'm
he
just
really
amazed
just
at this.
became such a bigger than life
Oh yeah.
person.
I mean, King
There
of
was
Pop.
a thing
was
that
it.
popped up, or you might have sent it to me on my phone or something, with Michael Jackson in concert, one of his later concerts, and it showed, it said Michael Jackson not even doing anything. Yeah, he was just standing
Yeah.
in that pose, you know,
Yeah,
on the stage, and the
Yeah,
audience
I was just losing
and
their
there's no
minds.
music, there's no sound, there's
Yeah.
nothing. He's
Yeah.
just standing there, and they're going bananas. And then all of a sudden, do 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 do.
Oh yeah.
And then it was like, you know,
Just-
and you kind of get chills, you know, because
Oh, yeah.
you sort of
Well, it's a
you
hell of a
feel
hook.
that
Oh,
hook,
yeah.
that
Yeah.
bass line, yeah.
That's it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and he was amazing, and even Elvis. I mean, you could talk about Elvis. Elvis was, a Ford.
Oh, interesting.
Okay.
All right, number 3, Bing Crosby.
Yeah, he's got a lot of stuff.
He has a lot of stuff, but number 3.
See, I only know his Christmas stuff.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and
That's all that survived of his
Yeah,
career.
yeah.
So White Christmas and
Yeah.
stuff.
Well, and that was a great song, White Christmas.
But
it was huge.
he's definitely got a great voice.
great voice.
Had a great voice. He was 74. He died in 1977. So again, this was like he was
one of the early
He was like
ones.
Perry Como. He was around the same. So you got to give him his props there.
Yeah.
For, setting the tone.
Yeah.
Pun intended.
Absolutely. There you go.
There you go. So, all right, number 2, Dino.
For
Dean
real,
Martin.
man.
And I know you don't agree.
I
really
grew up with
mean,
Dean Martin songs in the
Yeah.
house.
Yeah.
All the time.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't think my dad was a big Dean Martin fan.
He was not.
Because of the Martin and Lewis stuff.
Yeah.
I think because of that. And
he
that's
thought he was
why.
It's a terrible thing to box him in.
But I'm just guessing because that was never, because when I met you and you said, that your mom loved Dean Martin and listened to Dean Martin all the time, I didn't grow up listening to Dean Martin.
Mm-hmm.
It was Frank Sinatra.
Yeah.
It was almost exclusively Old Blue Eyes in my house.
Guys were snobs.
And then, we listened a lot to instrumental music as well, but not
So
just
Dean
singers.
Martin was born in Steubenville, Ohio.
Yes, I knew that.
Boy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Part of the Rat Pack, of course.
Yes.
So, yeah, that kick in the head is one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, I
And
think
his
he was
delivery.
great. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
He's just
Yeah.
smoking a cigarette
I know.
all the time. You
Yeah.
can't find pictures
Yeah.
of him without smoking a cigarette.
I know. Or having a glass
Glass
of
of
whiskey.
whiskey.
Yeah,
I know.
yeah, that's it.
But he did a lot. That was the thing. I mean, he was one of the first ones, and Frank Sinatra did too, where they did, besides singing and entertaining,
Yeah.
they did movies and
Well,
TV.
and that's the
He's
thing.
in great movies.
Yeah.
Right.
yeah.
Well, and we talk about the idea of one man or woman on stage, in commanding the audience, and that was absolutely him, and it seemed
Yeah.
effortless. We know because of
we know what it takes.
know what it takes. That
Yeah.
it wasn't, but that the fact that he could do that, he could just make it like, oh yeah, I just showed up on stage.
Well, they
and-
came up with the Dean Martin roast.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
They
that's
roast
right.
all, and that was all
jeez,
improvised.
that was
man.
so funny.
And
I
he'd
know.
bust your gut.
Who
man.
was the
Don
guy?
Rickles.
Don Rickles, man.
Yeah.
He got Don Rickles in there with them, and just oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, my
yeah.
parents didn't like that.
No,
And
Poppy
liked that
did.
kind of
Poppy
humor.
hated Don Rickles. Yeah,
Right,
it was
so
so
that's-
funny.
it
Yeah.
Why did he
colors,
not
yeah.
like? He's like Uncle John. Are you kidding me?
Well, that's
Okay, we don't want to go there.
yeah, did
that's
like
that's why. Yeah.
Okay.
That you just
Whoops.
made the point.
There you go.
gonna bury him in the back next to my rose
Oh
bushes.
my gosh. Yeah. That was exactly. So
Oh, it's terrible.
no, I know, for
A
real.
topic for another time.
Yeah, well, inside stuff there. So anyway, then of course number 1 they have Frank Sinatra. Yeah.
Yep.
And
He's pretty hard to topple.
he's amazing. I don't know. I don't.
Hey.
I'm not gonna say he doesn't deserve to be number 1, but I do think that there are other people that had skill like him
It's
that don't get the
subjective, man.
recognition.
It is.
Well, of course.
Well, and it's based. It's just people that vote. So
Right.
it's
And
based
who's the
on
most
just
famous on
popular-
that list?
Yes.
You know,
And Mel
Sinatra,
Torme
right.
is not. People don't
Right.
nowadays. People don't even know who he is.
Yeah, his memory
and
isn't-
he's
Yeah.
great. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
he's really
Well,
probably
and
the
like all
better
the way
singer
up.
of any of them.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and all the way up, to basically to when he died. I mean, he was still
Singing.
and
Yeah.
that's one of the cool things about Tony Bennett. His son said that the last time that at least they heard that he sang right before he died, it was like the day before he passed away.
Wow.
He was sitting at the piano, and his wife, I think Susan is her name, walked into the room, and he said, "Well, what do you want me to play?" And she was like, "Well, whatever you want." And then he started singing "Because of You,"
Oh.
and that was his first hit. That was his first,
Wow.
big hit.
Yeah.
And he sat and he played "Because of You," and then of course, then I go listen to "Because of You,"
And cry,
my head
bawling,
falls. Like,
yeah.
I was just, and that song too is so beautiful. It's
Yeah.
just,
Who wrote it?
man, I don't know.
I don't know. We'll have to
I
look
have to look it up. Yeah. It was such a great song, and that was his first hit, all the way back. So, yeah.
Well, this was nice.
Yes.
A lot of memories, good things to look up and to educate about these different singers if you're interested.
Yeah.
I have a lot of baritones right now taking voice lessons. They should look up a lot of these singers. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, most of these crooners are,
Mm-hmm.
Because of You was written by Arthur Hammerstein and Dudley Wilkinson in 1940.
Wow.
How about that? So,
Yeah.
So you got to check that out too. Yeah,
Very good.
Because of You. Yeah. So awesome. Well, good stuff.
Yeah.
Good memories.
That's it.
Good performers. Good music. Good family.
Good coffee.
Good coffee. Everything's good, folks.
There you go.
All right. Well, I suppose we'll wrap it up right there. So, yeah, if you're interested in joining our fantasy football league, send us a message. Leave a comment. We'll get you in. That'll be fun.
As long as you're not too good.
So, yeah. I know, right?
And who knows?
Yeah.
Because it's all speculation.
Well, and we're just doing this for fun. You know,
Yes.
we're not putting any money on it or anything.
No.
We're just doing it just for
Bragging
fun.
rights.
Bragging rights.
Yes.
Yeah, that's,
Which I hold right now.
Of course.
That's
you
it.
have
We
to.
got to dethrone him.
I know. We got to put him down here. So come on, yes, come on, folks.
I know.
So so that'll be fun. Be sure to like, subscribe, rate this podcast. If you're listening to us, if you're watching us on YouTube, thank you so much. But be sure to hit that like and subscribe button so you can never miss an episode of Coffee with the Kays. And we look forward to doing another episode for you next month. This is Ron Kaye of Ron Kaye's Music Instruction. The music provided at the beginning and the end is off his album K-Struction. Did you know that? That's crazy. You can find that on Spotify and Apple Music and anywhere you get fine music. Fine music. I feel like I'm doing a PBS special right now. And if you call right now in the first so, but we look forward to seeing you. If you're ever interested in getting lessons for yourself or someone you know, musiclessonspensacola.com and phone number and all of that information is in the bio. So we look forward to seeing you on another episode of Coffee with the Kays.